Once upon a time, in the land of Noisy Ellie, there was a prairie which was quiet and without meetings. Only the smell of cows a-pasturing and an occasional belch of farmers a-beering disturbed the wind. For most of the people of Noisy Ellie were crowded into the great city called Gogochai. One day the head of state issued a proclamation that was called a report on new senior institutions. What the head of state wanted was to build a new school, a great university that was different from all others. He decided to place it in the quiet of the prairie, so the students from the city could hear something for a change. "But who shall show us the way?" asked the people. So the head of state told Bog to look for a man like no other, who could build a great university different from all others. They had to search far and wide to find the right man. Finally, in the middle of Ilfilly, in the eastern realm of Pennsylvania, they found William the Innovator. And he came to Noisy Ellie, and he set up the first meeting on the prairie called the Squatter Session, and he found it good. And the people asked, "Where shall your followers sit?" And so William found a paint store and an old farmhouse, and he said to his followers, "I dub thee Dads, Directors of Academic Development. Your first task is to decide our parameters." "But what is a parameter?" the Dads asked inquisitively. "You shall see," William said to them. And so William the Innovator began looking for better quarters. Finally, on the prairie south of the city, in the state of Noisy Ellie, he found the perfect place, a place where there was absolutely nothing. "But there is nothing there, not even a town," cried his followers. And William said, "O ye of little faith, of course not. But we shall build a new town, whose name shall be called Sunday Morning by popular demand, but which will later be called Park Forest South, because they wouldn't call it Nathan. The name will be a political compromise." And so William brought Lewis the Builder, son of Nathan, to his shopping plaza office. Meanwhile, on nothing, the surge module was built, in a feat of daring that his follower Keith the Smith called bidding on the come. First you bid, then you wait for the money to come. "But what is a surge module?" the people asked. "It is a planning building with colorful walls to ensure my followers' peace of mind." "But what shall we plan?" inquired the Dads. "Everything within the parameters," replied William. And so more followers were hired to help William, the Innovator, and his Dads. One day William greeted the people who had come to the surge module. Said William, "We have talked with the people of the city. We have talked with the sages of Bog, and we now know what our university parameters are. Our university will have no classes. Our university will have no departments. Our university will have no grades. Our university will have no full professors. Our university will have no offices. And our university will have no admission examinations." The people were puzzled. "Will it have students?" they asked. "Yes," said William, "except our students will not be the students of old." "Not old students?" "They will be the new student, whom we will find on the streets of our city, and we will teach them a new language of 3-letter words." "And how shall we call this university?" Shall it be named Williams College of Idiomatic Innovation? No, replied William modestly. I'm just Plains Bill. Then shall we call it the Great Plains Lunacity? No, said William, reminding them that they must always be humble. And so he said, we shall call it Gazoo, and we shall have a symbol that shows us as a people of vision, a people of the future. And so William hired a student to draw the Great Seal. Many saw it as a moon landing craft, and some saw it as a trinity, and some saw it as a peace sign, and one even suggested it a conspiracy to advertise un-American automobiles. But they were wrong. In reality, it stands for the master planning parameters, going 3 directions at once. Well, needless to say, the sages of Bog were thrilled. So at lunch, the head of Noisy Alley asked William to open it 2 years early, without mentioning anything about quarters.
Oh.
But we can't do this in a surge module, chorused the incredulous insiders. Of course not, said William the innovator. Our friend Lewis the builder will help. We will rent a warehouse in an industrial park. But there's no industry, no parks. That's no problem, smiled the knowing innovator. Smitty is innovative. He will bid us a warehouse. The money will come later. And Lewis will have a chance to erect a gigantic work of art at its entrance. Some have likened it to a hockey stick, but one suggested a finger. And William decreed, in this mini-campus, we will use the latest technology. Is that within the parameters? Asked the blackboarders. This is just the beginning, replied William mysteriously. We will innovate a great academic barn on the prairie that will be open to anyone. There will be no walls to separate us from the people. But what will hold the roof up? You shall see, said William. And William ordered the ground broken where there was nothing, and invited the head of Noisy Alley and his bog to come down to see it. And a blue tent was erected above the place where the ground was to be broken. And the head of Noisy and his beetledom spoke of the coming glory and the next election. So the building of the educational barn began. It would take a long, long time. Meanwhile, in the fall of 1971, the mini-campus opened, even though it was nowhere near ready. And 500 students flocked to the warehouse that Lewis the builder had built, almost. And the people of Gogochai began to learn many new things. They learned that classes were modules, that semesters were sessions, that grades were competencies, that departments were departed, and that walls were missing, and toilets weren't toiling, and that it was not quiet in a university in a warehouse. But the people were joyous and festive, even if they did not understand it all. And the followers heard they would see it better, quieter, in the great academic cathedral on the prairie. For William had it written neatly on stacks of paper that lay on his desk in a corner of the warehouse. After several years, the educational sanctuary still was not ready. And so William the innovator said, "Ready or not, here we come." While students were registered, the followers of William learned many new things. It was hot in there. There were no lights in there. And learning spaces were not ready, and offices were rare. And the new technology didn't work too well. William had moved his stacks of paper from the warehouse mini-campus to his new office high atop the loft, where he could look out over the Hall of Governors. "Will the pool hold water?" the people asked. And William replied, "One day, you shall see, but we will have a gigantic art park first." What's a gigantic art park? It's something to talk about, and it's within our parameters. "We shall see," said the bog. As the years passed, and as the barn became not quite finished, many people came to see what was happening where there once was nothing, and there was great wonderment. Then one day, William, the great innovator, declared the first phase completed, saying that a second phase must be planned. "We shall see," said the new members of Bog, for they knew the new head of Noisy Ellie was only talking. "But we have many students and need more quarters and a few dimes while you're at it," implored the great innovator. Then the North Central Association of College and Secondary Schools dispatched their bumbledom to grade the Luniversity. They anointed it fully accredited. And so Gazoo grew up to more than 4,000 students, and the roof almost stood up. And some said that technology was getting better. But not everyone agreed. William the innovator's stacks of paper were high by now, and he knew he had completed his work. And the people asked, "But who will be our new leader?" And William replied, "You will find another. Even though he will be called the good man, Leo, and be able to make thunder speak, he too will stay within the parameters." And although the journey was difficult, and those who made it the whole way were few, we now see that his intelligence, his persistence, and his vision are embedded in Governor State University. It is truly a great innovation in higher education, even though the roof leaks.